Hello, and welcome to the Art of Living Well podcast. I'm Stephanie May Potter, and I'm here with my co-host, Marnie Dotches-Marmette.
We created the Art of Living Well podcast to empower you to live your happiest, healthiest, and most authentic life. Each week, we will bring you inspiring and motivating conversations covering health and wellness topics, including fitness, mindset, food, travel, product reviews, and strategies from a variety of experts, including our own bank of knowledge.
We are excited to educate, motivate, and inspire you to change the way you perceive health and discover your art of living well. Get ready to feel inspired.
Hi, this is Marnie Dotches-Marmette, and I'm here with my co-host, Stephanie May Potter from the Art of Living Well podcast, and we are here doing episode number 12 on the power of friendship and community. And we're super excited about this topic, right, Stephanie? Because we both just feel so strongly about how friends and community can really nourish your body and your soul.
Exactly. And so many people, when they think about health and wellness, just focus on food and exercise. And those are important, yes, but those are just two small parts of your overall health and wellness and your happiness, honestly. So today we want to talk about the power of friendship and how it can boost your sense of self and your purpose and meaning and belonging. And we'll just go into some of our thoughts and, strategies to try to incorporate and surround yourself with more of those positive people in your life.
And also, Stephanie mentioned some of the benefits of friendship and community, but there are a ton of studies out there. I was doing a little research on that. I'm not going to cite any right now, but a lot of the studies do show that your cardiovascular health is improved when you surround yourself with friends, with positive friends, and or you're part of a community that you feel good about. And some of the studies also mentioned that when you surround yourself with people that are healthy, you tend to be healthier. And then, the opposite is true as well. So if you're surrounding yourself with people that tend to be overweight, maybe not exercising as much, you could tend to go that way as well. So I thought that was really interesting findings.
Yes, absolutely. And, I think part of it is going back even to the blue zones, Marnie, and we've talked about the blue zones before.
Yep.
But one of the components of these areas of the world where people are living longer it's just having someone to confide in and having that community, and they see similar people every day. There's examples of, after work, some of these communities will maybe even walk to a restaurant or someone's house and they sit and have a glass or two of wine and eat dinner and just talk and just, enjoy each other's company. And again, if you had a bad day or you're having a good day, being able to share those thoughts and feelings with, so you don't keep them all bottled up inside you.
And in the United States, that doesn't seem to work as well, realistically. I mean, I think it sounds lovely to be able to walk down to my local pub or my local restaurant and meet up with my friends every evening and kind of go over the course of my day. But the reality is I have a family, I have a husband, so that doesn't happen on a daily basis. But
I think there are ways, though, that you can incorporate that.
Yes.
And so it could even be as simple as, if there's parents out there and you're taking your kids to activities, maybe you have a gap in your schedule or they're at practice, find your friend and just go on a walk while they're at practice, right? Yeah. Or sit and have coffee with someone if you can during that time. So I think there's a way to utilize, your downtime, if you will, especially for the parents out there, and incorporate some of the friendship and some of the ideas that we're going to talk about today. It doesn't need to be like a scheduled girls trip or a scheduled guys trip out of town. It can be just finding that way to connect with people in your day-to-day life.
Yeah, totally. And for me, my girlfriends are so important to me. I need that girl time. I love my husband and I love spending time with him and my kids, but I need the time away on a regular basis where I can talk about things that I don't want to talk about with my husband and my kids.
Exactly. And maybe our kids and husband don't even want to hear about
Right. And
these
and
things
most
anyway.
likely they don't. So I feel like I really see those benefits, and I try to make it a priority in my week.
Yes.
Whether it's a phone call or a walk with a friend or grabbing a bite to eat or whatever it is, or a lunch, whatever I can squeeze in to get in that girl time.
Absolutely. It's therapeutic.
Totally.
For me, it is too.
Yes.
And, and it's hard to catch up with people. Everyone's lives are busy, but you're going to go out on a walk real quick, shoot someone a text. Or if you're trying to form a new habit, accountability and having someone to start that with you is also really helpful. And maybe you set up, 1 or 2 times a week where you're going to go on that walk or meet someone at the gym for a workout class.
Yes. So I have an example of that, actually. I have 2 friends that for a while now have been going to this dance class at the gym on Saturday mornings, and I have started to join them in the last 6 months, and I love the class. It's so fun. I'm smiling the whole time. It's a good workout. It's I'm with my friends, but I don't think I ever would have attempted to go to this class if someone hadn't asked me to go. It just wouldn't have even been on my radar.
Yep.
So it's kind of fun to, like you said, go with a friend, have that accountability.
Exactly.
Try something new.
And same thing when you're trying to form a new habit is surrounding yourself with people that are on that same track as you, or both want to do that together. I think that's just really important when you're looking, especially in the new year, to form a new habit. Doing it with people not only provides support and accountability, but then I think you both feel really good while you're doing it and after.
And also another thing is I know we're all on social media, on Facebook, on Instagram, maybe you're on Snapchat. Digital friends are not friends.
Yeah, they're not what we're talking about today, I guess, right?
Yeah, I shouldn't say they're not friends. You can definitely have some sort of relationship with people on digital media, but what we're talking about is really face-to-face interaction, human interaction, where you're looking into someone's eyes.
Or on the
phone, not texting, but actually voice-to-voice communication.
Yeah.
Which kind of sounds funny that we have to clarify that, but a lot of people think, oh my gosh, I have so many Facebook friends, and that's how I keep in touch with everybody. But that's not the same level of a relationship, I guess, is
Exactly.
what we're trying to talk about here.
Exactly. And it's someone's birthday, and I think Facebook is great for a reminder. But
Yes.
I guess I would challenge you the next time you see someone's birthday coming up, and maybe it's not just an acquaintance, but it's a good friend from college or high school or someone that lives out of state that you're not going to see, send them a card. I have a really good friend from high school who I think almost every year I get a card in the mail from her. She's not even on Facebook. And I get a card from her every year. And it just warms my heart in that she remembers to do that. And who doesn't like getting real mail, from the postal service delivered to you? It's a little extra step and effort, but it really goes a long way.
I think that's great. And even a phone call.
Oh, a phone call.
I get lazy myself with birthdays, and I'll send someone a text or a Facebook message. I'll be like, well, they got my message.
Right.
But picking up the phone and just, even if you're leaving a message, just taking those 30 seconds to wish them a happy birthday.
Exactly.
Is really a nice extra touch.
Yes.
Right?
And you're going to make their day. And honestly, you should feel good about making someone's day as well.
But aside from friendship, or I shouldn't say aside from, but in addition to the power of friendship, it's also really the power of community. And you can get those same kinds of positive feelings and rewards from joining a community or participating in a community. Joining some sort of book club or recipe club.
Cooking club,
Yep.
Anything that you're interested in. And even I think some of the benefit of these local boutique gyms that keep popping up that are small, they really foster that community. I know for me, that's one of the big benefits that I see from where I belong. It's super close to my house. I've met a ton of people there, and there's, a crew of people that are there at 5:30 in the morning working out. And we've all, over the last few years, have gotten to know each other in some shape or form. And one, it just helps with the accountability and getting there. But that small gym, I think it does something, and it
probably motivates you.
Right.
In a way. And I'm sure the people there are wanting to see you succeed as much as you want to see them succeed.
The instructors know your name. The other people know your name, and you're saying hi, and you're having a little chit chat in the morning and putting the phone away, hopefully. So those are some great examples. My neighborhood just started a book club, and I've always wanted to be part of a book club, and none of them have been able to take off. And it's been great. We've had 3 months. One, I'm reading books that I wouldn't have, and it keeps me accountable to read a book and finish it within a month. And there's, people that have young kids, and there's people that have kids in college in the book club. And we had some really good conversation last month, actually. Real, meaningful topics, I guess.
Yeah. So I'm in a neighborhood book club too, that we've had for a number of years. And, I love the community of it and the women in it. We go in and out in terms of who actually reads the book. I happen to be one of those people that reads the book because I love to read. But sometimes the women don't read the book.
And that's okay.
And then we just get together and we get a glass of wine and we talk.
Right.
And that's just fine. It's a nice excuse to get out. You're maybe driving a block. Mm-hmm. You're getting together with people in your neighborhood, which is building your neighborhood community. So it's great. But the point is to find the community that resonates with you, whatever that is. If you're a guy, maybe it's a fantasy football community or, some sort of sports community or a running club or whatever. Whatever it is, a wine club, like wherever your interests lie.
Yep. But finding those people, and I think, Marnie, you bring up a good point about guys, and we don't want to leave anyone out of this conversation, obviously, but it's important for men, especially those who maybe have pretty demanding jobs and they're busy. They may travel, or they just may be working a lot, and then they have families and other commitments. They need an outlet too, right? Mm-hmm. And so having your spouse or significant other make sure that they're finding their people and a way to just chat. And I think, the discussions that men have and the discussion that women have when they're alone and together are probably very different.
Yes.
I don't know if I want to be in the men's grill, but it's just important that they have that outlet. So encouraging your spouse, whoever's listening to this right now, whether it's a female or a male, to go out and find your people and have some of those outlets.
And then also, as you think about your friendships or your community, you want to make sure that you're not part of a community or a friendship that feels toxic to you. Mm-hmm. I heard this term where it's called co-ruminating, where you're excessively talking about your problems over and over again with certain people, and then your stress level kind of gets ramped up. And the goal of, spending time with friends obviously isn't to ramp up your stress level, right? It's to just enjoy yourself. And so I think it's important to take note of those friendships where you don't feel like the value is there, or even the way you feel about yourself when you're with that particular person or part of a community. It can be the same for a community, and to try and kind of weed either the friends out or the community out and seek out ones that are healthier for you.
Yeah, and more like-minded. And maybe there was a point in your life where you were, maybe you're doing things that now you don't prioritize. So whether it was like going out and partying or drinking or whatever, multiple nights a week, and now you're just at a different point, it's okay. Accept those changes. Don't feel bad about them, and just, move on and find people that are more aligned with where you want to be, where you are right now, but ultimately where you want to be.
And friends that lift you up.
Yes.
Right?
Make you feel good.
You want to celebrate your friends' successes, and you want them to celebrate yours.
And if it's just a one-way street where there are people that you'll listen to them, take,
yes,
and they never ask you how you're doing, well, reevaluate. And not that you're not going to unfriend them necessarily, but you just don't spend as much time with them. And your limits, and it's a half-hour walk and not a 3-hour dinner or something.
And time is limited. So spend time with people that you want to spend time with. And hopefully they want to spend time with you.
Right.
So a couple ways to build friendship or community would be, to engage in some sort of weekly activity like we talked about. Like, maybe it's a sport or a class, or maybe even it's a game night. Maybe you're doing a weekly game night with friends. Like
That sounds fun.
That sounds really fun, especially in the winter when you don't want to,
Exactly.
if you're in a cold environment and you don't want to be.
Like we are. Marnie has her jacket on right now. It's so cold.
I'm so cold. Yeah. And another way to make new friends or even kind of get engaged with a new community is to volunteer.
That's such a great way.
Yeah. If you can find some sort of organization that you feel passionate about and go there regularly.
And that's twofold, because you're giving back to a community or a group of people in need, which is ultimately going to make you feel better. And then you're connecting with others that you may form friendships with, right?
Right. Yep. And it's also important to schedule time for your friendships, right? Because we're all so busy. And that's one of the first things I feel like that can kind of get pushed aside. Like, oh, I don't have time. I have so much work to do, or I have to drive the kids here or drive the kids there. But if you can just try and schedule that time for in-person, face-to-face connection.
Yes.
I know when my kids were little, I just got babysitters. And some people would look at me and be like, why would you do that? But it's because I need a break.
Yes. I did that too.
I need some adult interaction. So
don't be apologetic about this either. Do what you have to do. Ask a neighbor for help. Maybe you have family in town, but Marnie, I was the same way, and I've never lived in a city with family, so that was never an option. And I got babysitters, and it wasn't, it wasn't every day or multiple times per week, but
maybe
it's
even
important.
Once a week or once every other week.
I think you're also setting a good example for your kids that friendship is important and that you value that.
Yep, I agree. And actually, I have had some other parents say to me, but how can you miss your kid's soccer game? And it's well, I'm going to 4 soccer games a week.
Right.
It's okay if I miss one. I can go out, and it's good for my kids to see that I have a life outside of them. I think that's so important.
And if you're a better mom when you are with them at the other 3 soccer games that week, then that's what you want. Not the mom who's stressed and needs the outlet but hasn't had time to connect with her friends. No, go to the dinner or whatever you're doing socially with your friends.
Right.
And then come home and then be present and
with your kids. You just had your
there.
nice evening out, and now you're home. Exactly. And present with your kids or your husband or whoever, or your spouse.
Exactly. And I think there's ways to incorporate things that you already do with things that you want to do too. Or, or incorporate certain things that are with your kids but with other people. And so you're still with your kids to some degree, but yet, especially when they get older and they don't maybe need you as much, they're not running up to you every 5 minutes necessarily. But the other night, I brought my youngest son with his friend and the mom somewhere out. The boys were ice skating, and we got to hang out inside, and we had a glass of wine, and we caught up. And that was a way to incorporate 2 things in one. And we still had a very meaningful conversation, her and I, and then the boys were outside playing, and we all hung out together. So be creative, I guess, as to how you frame and how you find ways to incorporate having those meaningful conversations and incorporating those friendships into your life. They don't all need to be 3-hour night outs every week or anything like that.
Right. And then, when you do kind of have your base of friends or whatever it is, build traditions with them, right? Maybe you do go on a once a year annual girls trip, or, you
birthday,
could do something as simple as, a birthday dinner,
Right.
and you get together for each other's birthdays, or, I already mentioned fantasy football. I'm trying to think of what men would want to build traditions around.
I know my husband likes to go on a golf trip.
Yes,
on
golf trips.
Although he just mentioned a potential ski trip the other day.
Or
so
ski trips, yes. Golf and ski. I had a brain, I don't know.
Lapse.
Anyway, so it's nice to kind of build those traditions. There's something to look forward to.
And I think it can be with, old and new friends. So
yes,
you move to a new city or you don't know a lot of people. It's very easy to meet new people when you surround yourself and, especially when you're in a community or you're able to find groups that you have common interests.
Right.
And that I know can sometimes be hard when you move, but there's lots of groups out there and online communities associated with cities and different interests.
Right.
And I think those are good ways to find people.
Definitely. And I think, I hear a lot that as we get older, it's harder to make new friends. Mm-hmm. And I grew up in Minneapolis. You didn't. So I have a lot of friends here that I grew up with, but I love meeting new people still. Yeah. Like, I don't just want to be with the friends that I already know and have, right, because I like all different kinds of people from all different kinds of backgrounds. And I think that you just have to put yourself out there.
Exactly.
And sometimes that can be scary and hard, but it's also very rewarding, right?
Yep.
And you had to start all over coming here.
I did. And it's been great, but it takes time too.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but the bottom line is, friendship, community, it's so powerful. Mm-hmm. Try and make time for it, right?
Exactly. And there's other thing. The other point I guess I wanted to just bring up is the power of friendship over meals too.
Oh yeah.
And one, it gets you to slow down and really enjoy your food because you're having a conversation, so you're not inhaling your food. Hopefully you're chewing your food more because you're listening. And that's the other thing about just like being a good friend is someone who can really listen and
Mm-hmm.
isn't just the one talking all the time, but can listen and ask questions, because sometimes maybe all your friend needs is just to be heard.
Right.
And you're providing that sounding board for them.
And I do think it's nice, like you said, to go out for a nice meal or whatever kind of meal with people you enjoy, and you're really there. It's about enjoying their company.
Yes.
And whatever the meal is, it is. You're just relaxing, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And you're not stressed when you're eating.
Right.
Which is something you want to avoid.
Totally. So,
I think as we wrap up, we'd love to know your thoughts on this topic. Are there ways that you've been able to incorporate friendship and community into your life, or maybe something that you're even struggling with and a challenge that you're facing? We'd love to hear from you. So reach out on us, visit us on Instagram at theartofliving_well.
Or we have our Facebook page, The Art of Living Well
podcast on Facebook.
Yep.
And drop us a note. We'd love to hear from you. Marnie and I just created our private Facebook group, and we're inviting each of you to head on over to Facebook and join this new community.
We're so excited about it. We really created this group so we could connect with our listeners and form our tribe as we grow. And this group is really meant to be a safe space for our members
to connect and support one another. You may laugh, cry, and really provide opportunities for everyone to grow. That's one of the, I think, benefits of the community, is to have the connections and the accountability.
And you'll even have direct access for Q&A with both of us. So we're just so excited about it, and we're really hoping that you'll join us on this adventure.
So head on over to Facebook and search the Art of Living Well podcast private Facebook community.
Thank you so much for listening to the Art of Living Well podcast. We are so grateful that you joined us today.
If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with a friend or anyone else you think may benefit from this information. We'd love for you to subscribe to our podcast, leave us a review, and tag the Art of Living Well podcast on social media.
If you want more inspiration in between episodes, you can find us on social media at theartofliving_well on Instagram and Facebook, where we will share snippets from our daily lives and our journey to living well.